Hello. Hello. Oh no, my hips. Oh no, hold on. Hold on, my hips. We can't have that. This is a Christian Minecraft server. Hello. The music's very loud in my head. Hello, Fatoris. Hello, Baba. Hello, Gamma. Who else is in the chat? I saw more people. Joey hates me. We've established that. Miha, welcome. Iswal, hi. And Neko and Commissar, hello, welcome. Hello, Wee. I was drawn by promise of yapping. There will hi, hi, Winder. There will be so much yapping. Music loud on screen as well. Okay, I'll turn it down. I'll turn it down. I don't know. I couldn't find the right music for the vibe because I don't think I can say it anymore. I don't know, because Twitch just changed their TOS. Because my stuff comes up on other places and I can't play music there. Should I do piano? DMCA free classical music? Does that sound like a vibe? Yeah, there we go. There you go. The world squirrel is here. Foamy, do you know about the squirrel in Norse myth that I can't remember his name, but he basically goes from the bottom of Yggdrasil to the top and like pisses off two groups of I can't, oh my gosh, my brain's not working. I think it's who's at the bottom? Hold on. Who's at the bottom and at the top? Okay, yeah, a dragon. I was gonna say a snake. Okay, yeah, okay. You activated a neuron and then I remembered. Alright. See, we're on the same page. We're on the same page. We're good. The singular neuron fired when you said that. Man, that took me a hot minute. So you know what I'm talking about. All right, guys, we are. It's been like a year over, I think, really, since we've done like a proper Skiff stream. For those who don't know anything about Elysium Skiff, essentially it's the story that I'm building and doing the world building. And it's a lot like our own. But there are these things called coils, which are kind of like underground labyrinths. that people can enter into and fight monsters and get resources. So Norse Prometheus is a squirrel, kind of. I don't know anything. That's me. Yeah. So, and then I'm giving you guys super duper spark notes. So if I start yapping and something seems super confusing, feel free to ask questions. I'm happy to elaborate because I can't remember what you do and do not know. So, Wondermelon, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the meat hall. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so that's like the very like overall gist of it. The other gist of it is that human beings can be implanted with these metals and stones that come out of these coils, and it gives them supernatural abilities. There are limits, and we'll talk about that today because those abilities have changed since we've talked about them last. And how that all works has changed a bit since we've last talked, so we'll talk about that. I had this really cool plan to have like the window switch back and forth based on like notes and stuff, and I had it running with like 4 or 5 windows, and it was kind of neat. But then it started crashing out and it was using up a lot of my RAM, so I had to abandon that plan, which I'm kind of sad about, but it was a neat idea, but it does not work. Does not work. Does not work. Weren't the coils dropped onto the planet? Yeah, so actually, I think since we're talking about world building and like the kind of history of it, I feel like I could probably share that part with you guys. Essentially, the coils are dead gods that dropped into the planet like hundreds of thousands of years ago. That piano got super loud in my ears. And then dropped into the planet like 100,000 years ago, and now are full of monsters and stuff. So that's why they give an unearthly power. Hello, Ammonia. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So my plan is kind of like take notes over here and then just doodle on this, work on this a bit more. This is one of the characters while we're yapping, so I can do something with my hands because it makes it easier to yap than just sitting here staring at the computer. I did have a couple people ask questions in the Discord, so feel free to ask questions here. And then I can also answer the questions from the Discord. So I'm going to pull those up because there are a lot of like generalized questions that I thought would be good to like start off and kind of do like a warm up, you know, like a warmy uppy type vibe. Is this CSP? This is Clip Studio Paint. Yes. Yep. That is what I use. I was trying to give more screen real estate to the actual like canvases, but then I realized because of the like size of my screen, I can only do so much, you know what I mean? What part of world are you using? What do you mean? The entire world, I guess? The dirt. Okay, so Bubba asked in the Discord, what are some plot points and characters from Elysium Skiff? We haven't talked about characters too much. Roll domination then, yes. We haven't talked about characters too much. We have Elise here that's on screen. I've been keeping the characters and plots kind of super sneaky. Just because I would like to surprise people with the story. I'm playing as Elon Musk right now. Oh yeah? Hello, James. Welcome to the stream. Is this not Spain, not Germany, not Arabia? No, I don't really feel like, this is like a different, like planet type vibe. So there's not like Germany. I mean, there's like, inspo from different countries, but I wouldn't say it's like a 1-for-1 Germany, 1-for-1, you know, Spain type vibe. They're all kind of their own thing. All right. I would say they're more like European based though, I guess, if I had to like pick something for a frame of reference. Yeah, so we haven't really talked about characters or plot too much. There's squirrels exist. So while this is not Earth, Earth animals exist on this planet. There's a couple of monsters that people have come up with too that I would say are squirrel-like, I think. There's cows, there's chickens, there's horses, there's alligators, I would assume. I didn't want to go too far into fantasy, you know what I mean? Like, I want it to be like different, but not. Okay, what are some plot points? We talked about that. Has the combustion engine been invented yet? Yes and no. There's an engine that works similar to a combustion engine in a way. So they have like automobiles type thing, and we'll talk about that. They don't have cars in the way you and I have cars though, because their power source is different, so like the technology around that power source is built differently. What's the most modern feeling technology there? There's like a semblance of a telephone, I would say. It doesn't function exactly like a telephone. And there's like refrigerators, but again, they all function differently. They're like reskinned almost. And like only the rich people can have the high-tech kind of stuff. And like the quote-unquote telephone is not, it's not like instant transmission. We don't pull a Goku over here. No Gokus. And we'll talk about that too. Completely unrelated, the squirrels in my neck of the woods are massive. They're like cat-sized squirrels, not kidding. My god. Do they run off the godstones? Yeah! Yeah, hold on. Let me write these down because these are good questions and I don't want to forget them. Okay. Oh, that's a really big brush. Maybe if I find something that doesn't have stabilization. Off the... Actually, honestly, godstones might be a neat name for them. Alright. Let's see. The fancy rich people fridge is powered by God's kidney stone. Yeah, essentially. Are there any fantasy races? And so, yeah, no, there's no fantasy races. It's, humanoid, humans. Just humans. No elves, no dwarves, no, cat people, nothing like that. Essentially, like, it's like copy and pasted Earth without the same countries, if that makes sense. But there are lots of monsters. Okay, jokes aside, Kami wants to know if mana is stored in the balls. Technically, it can be. Jokes aside, any refinements on how joke to make are recharged, or is it like a flea market, but with the buried stones, or do people somewhere forget unforgotten or in progress doodads? Ooh, that's a good question. That's a good question. I haven't thought about that. We can talk about that. That's a good question. I hadn't even considered that. That would be a good plot point, honestly. I think that's all the questions. Yeah. Alright. Okay. Do they run off the gods? Okay. So, essentially what happened is when these gods... Maybe I should have another doodle. Just for doodling. Nah, I can put it in the notes. Fuck it. We ball. Okay. So, essentially when, these gods hit the planet, you know... they went into the planet and it caused the planet to crack with energy, you know, like impact and energy. And there's several coils across the planet. There's not just one. There's like, I think I had like 15, maybe, or 10, something like that. There's multiple coils. But essentially what happened is the coils are full of Aelor energy, which I don't think is like an original word, but I'm using it. And if someone doesn't like it, they can contact my non-existent lawyer. But these the coils are full of Alar energy, and then Alar energy also cracked through the planet, causing these like fissures that then can reach other coils or reach other places across the planet. So like how, example, the like telephone would work, is you would have to be on one of these Alar cracks, and then the signal would be sent down through the crack to like a receiving station, like close to like where you're trying to send the message to. And there can be things like interference, or if, you know, there's like an earthquake and the tectonic plates shift and it cracks the line, that could ruin that Alar line, and then like nobody can get messages through, or, you know, so simple things like that. So that is how, so going back to charging the crystals, that is how people who don't necessarily live like right on top of a coil can charge their stuff, is they can bring it to an Alar line. Now a coil charges it significantly faster, like massively faster. But if you bring it to an Alar line, you can charge your stones off of that and get more energy from that. So for example, if you're in a war and all your weapons are Alar weapons, and you need to recharge them, you better hope you have a nearby Alar line, or your ammo's gonna run out really fast. So, yeah. I also have notes and stuff. Now, if you're someone who... Sorry, my nose gets all snuffy when I start talking a lot. I don't know what's up with that. I'm just trying to not snort. I know you guys want me to, but I'm trying to not snort directly into the microphone. Can those lines be made artificially? No. Can they? I would say no. Not to the effect that like the naturally occurring ones would be. Like if you have like an Alar line here, right? Like let's say this is like the naturally occurring Alar line. You could run like a cable to like a base, to like a building. So it doesn't, like, the building doesn't have to be right on top of the Alar line. But you can't build like an Alar line across the country and have it function. Are these crystals a generic energy source, or are some specialized to a different task? That is a great question, Neko. So in the past, this is one of the big changes I've made. In the past, we had different colored crystals, and each different colored crystal did a different colored thing. And I have scrapped that. So now you have the stones, you have crystals, and that is it. They're all like a blue color. They all have the same energy. The colors are the same, they do not matter. The points are made up. The elements of harmony, yeah. Damn, you're setting yourself up for some crazy real estate-based conflicts. Hell yeah, I am. It's not free real estate. It's not free real estate. So yeah, basically, in the coils, you can fight monsters, and you can pull stones out of their bones, and you can put it into, and then you can put it into your own body, and become like super augmented human, you know, and then you can do super cool augmented human things, like make a ethereal sword burst out of the air like that. Yeah, because you're a superhuman now because you have crystals in your skin. Hello, Paladin, how are you? So there's a generic crystal, but a device that has all kinds of magic stuff in it to make it do different things. Yeah. Hello, Bacon. Welcome. So I haven't put too much thought. I've been focusing more on characters and plot the last like year or so. I haven't put too much thought into like the joke to mech like peripherals that we talked about last time. So like for example, you're talking about like toasters and how like a toaster, like how someone could have a toaster. Because basically these things, these little guys, function as batteries in like the most simple sense. So like you have your toaster, right? And maybe it'd look different because it uses Euler energy, and Euler energy doesn't produce heat, but maybe it can function sort of like electricity. And then you'd have like a little, compartment in the back where you'd put your Euler crystals in, you know, and then that would make it work. And then when it died, you would take the Euler crystal out and take it to a recharge station, which essentially is just like a hole in the ground in the coil. Or you would take it to an Euler line. No, I cannot draw the Lost Planet radiator for you. I decided to play airsoft with a stab wound. That sounds like a bad idea. Characters and plot are the most important depending on what you're working on. Obviously, an RPG supplement character matters a lot less. Yeah. Hello, Bleach. How are you? Wait, take the crystal out. They don't come out of people. They don't come out of people. They can come out of toasters. Toasters good, people bad. How did that work? Finding videos. They better be good, Bleach. Like, you're gonna have people here that haven't watched wrestling ever. This is gonna be their first impression, so it better be good. Can I throw the toaster on top? Yes, but it's not electric, so it won't kill you. Which is super neat. No toaster baths in my world. What's at the bottom of the whole end of the line? Do you mean in the coils? 0 out of 10. So you have the coil. So my struggle I've been having is trying to like come up with how big these things are. Basically, it's big enough you can have an entire massive city on top with districts. So that's how big it is. But then it's also like stories upon stories upon stories upon stories upon stories upon stories upon stories of height. And then the hole in it's big enough that you can have a whole other super slummy city underneath. The whole idea is if you somehow are able to go from down here to up here on an elevator ride, because there are elevators in a way, it takes like several hours. Like it's gonna take at least 4 to 6 hours to go from down here to up here. That's how big it is. How do you have a city above a hole? It's not above a hole. It's above a butt plug. It's above the coil, and then like it's not like floating. It's attached to ground. Sorry, there's fireworks going off outside. You have to do that. Is it fireworks or is it gunshots? But yeah, so it's attached to parts in the ground. Because like I said, these crashed into the ground like hundreds of thousands of years ago. So like, people have never been around without them there. So then, you know, people can leave off these land bridges and come and go off these land bridges. So it's massive. It's incredibly massive. Like down here, think Night City without the cyberpunk elements. Why don't they just fill the coil with rocks? Because then you can't harvest the stuff out of the coils. It's spelled, Aelor. Mystic City, yeah. What's the power source? Like, we have power plants and stuff. Oh, okay, so It's not, so like down here and most of the world, the time frame is not like, okay, every time I bring up like the time frame of this happening, people go, that's not da, da, da. Just suspend your belief for a minute. It's a mix of Victorian era and like Napoleonic era. So most people don't have like light bulbs in their houses, and they don't have toasters, and they don't have refrigerators. Like most people have like oil lamps, and they wear wool stockings to bed because it's cold. And there's these little pockets. Yeah, no, suspend your belief, not your disbelief. Wait, yeah, no, suspend your, yeah, no, wait, you're right. I don't know, whatever. Just listen to me. Listen to me. Yeah, so like the big city, like specifically this city, has a lot higher tech because they basically like farm the crap out of this and then put a lot of focus into tech. And maybe not so much focus into the quality of life for the people below the coil. You know, it's gotta slip somewhere, you know what I mean? Civilized people wear wool stockings for the vibe. Yeah. I have wool stockings. I do. And then, yeah, and then I can keep working on this. So yeah, it's mostly, think like Victorian, like down here. Dividing my meat, but no toaster bag. You don't need to tell us what you're doing with your meat. You don't need to tell us that. I'm thinking about safety here. Spell punk. Yeah, I've been calling it Arcana punk. It doesn't fit perfectly into it. It doesn't really fit perfectly into any genre, to be completely honest with you, but that's okay. So people are like, oh, what's your thing about it? I'll be like, well, do you have a minute for me to explain? Because it doesn't fit neatly into anything. Which is fine. Is Ailer good enough so electricity isn't used? They don't have, yeah, so electricity's not a thing. I don't want to go look at Spelljammer. I've looked at Spelljammer. They got boats in Devoid. I actually wanted to make a character that was a Spelljammer, but it never did. It never happened. Yeah, so there's no electricity. It was one of those things where like the tech went someplace else, so there was no reason to have electricity. If that makes sense. Because they don't have, you know, they didn't have a Thomas Edison. So just no one looked into it. So do the people have access to tech and consequently magic just like have unquestionable dominance over all the states? So a lot of the stuff that I'm answering for is based off of the main country that the characters are from. So this is, you know, this is where it gets kind of wonky because there are countries that don't have coils in them. So obviously their tech wouldn't be as high as a country with a coil because they're not able to, you know, or they would have to like import resources and everything, and that gets more expensive. So there are countries that have significantly lower tech, you know, than like the country I'm speaking on. There are also countries that do have coils that treat it differently than how this one does. So the main country I'm talking about, its name is Charius. And they are a monarchy, but it's like an investment monarchy, if that makes sense. It's kind of like the monarchy can invest into nobles. Oh my gosh, I explained this so well. I explained this so well to somebody else, and I was like, hell yeah, I got it locked down, and now I don't. Basically, the crown can invest in business ventures for like a share of the company and their profits. I mean, like standard business investing. But then if the crown invests in your company, that gives you like more authority over certain things. So like people will jockey to get invested in by the crown because you get like a special like seal or license or something like that, if that makes sense. So it's very like corrupted capitalism type vibes in Charius. Not every country functions like that though. So that is why there's such a disparity between the rich and the poor though. Kind of like the East Asian. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The East India Trading Company. Yeah. So like the poor down below work in factories. Like down here is very like Victorian, like working conditions. You know, you're getting sawdust in your bread, and you're sleeping like 9 people to a room, and everything's dirty and dusty, and people are dying of lung conditions, and kids are getting, you know. Hi, North. It'd be like that sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I'm going crazy re-explaining everything to people. That's one reason a lore Bible helps. I would love, I had this big plan to do like a big website, like a wiki, essentially, of like all this information. And then I like realized how massive of an undertaking that would be just on its own. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this by myself. Alum makes the flour extra white. That seriously happened in Victoria, England. Yeah, it's sketchy. Last modern tech question. Are there gas lamps, coal use, or steam tech? No steam. Because the Ailer energy doesn't make heat. I mean, obviously they have fire and stuff. I feel like down here would probably be like more steam tech. But yeah, it'd be like oil lamps down here. You can have Droktemek, which is like these things, but it's also this thing. They can produce light. A lot of people will not use it as a lighting source because, like in their homes, because it is expensive still, even if you have a lot of money, because like how many lights are in a house, right? There's tons of lights in a house, and then you have to charge those crystals. So you have to pay to charge the crystals. So it just, and then you're like, oh, I'm constantly swapping out light crystals to replace my light bulbs. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, even if you are like, unless you're like super duper rich, you probably would still use like oil lamps and stuff. It's taco time. Hi, Furfang. The other thing is that down here, that's definitely godlike. Yeah. Down here is where all the factories are for processing the crystals and the magic metals that come from the coils, which causes a lot of pollution, which is flammable. So basically what happens is it gets pumped out and back, well, like I said, I don't know. I don't know the logistics of it yet. So it gets pumped out and pumped back up here, and then like the street lights would be like that gas ignited. But you wouldn't have that in your home. So that's like a state effort. So that's what the street lamps are powered by. Do the Godstone's mines ever run out? No, so that part I did not change. You don't actually mine the stones out of like rock. The metals you can mine out of rock. But the stones actually come from the bones of monsters. And monsters spawn in the coils. So people called canaries, who are Droktemek enhanced mercenaries? I don't really know what you'd call them. Go in and they hunt down these monsters. And then they either tag them to be harvested or they harvest them themselves. And then they, depending on if they are like sponsored by an organization or not, they either get paid for their kill or they have to go sell it on the black market if they're illegals. Rock and stone. Oil lamps for somewhat well-off middle homes and tallow candles for the poor. I mean, yeah, that'd be fine. Although, so here's the thing though, is like the poors, people down here have to have things imported from up there. Like food and water and stuff has to come from above. So they have some access out, but they basically have to climb up the bowl. And there's like stairwells and things like so that they can do it, but it's such a long climb that it's not feasible for like people to do on a regular basis, if that makes sense. And that's by design, to keep the people down. DRG question, who is this universe's Carl? I don't know what that means. Welcome to Gladstone's Godstones. How may we help you? Yeah. And then if you're super rich, instead of getting your stones recharged, you just go to the store and buy new stones. My God. Can monsters be eaten more than once? I mean, can you eat a cow more than once? Hi, Nick. I'm good. It's going good. I'm trying to get chat caught up with you know, a lot of the changes I've made. Carl is a famous hero everybody dares tell stories about. What is this? Oh, this world's Carl is Jeff. His story is actually in the Discord if you ever want to go read it. He has a story. It's definitely Jeff. T. Hey ninjas, how are you? Is this for a TTRPG thing? So it's for like a novel or like a webcomic, but several people have told me that would make a really cool RPG setting. So like if I ever have the time and energy to like make that, I would love to do that. I would probably need assistance for something like that though. I don't think I can make an RPG by myself. Reed, I'm gonna pass on that. Well, that's your problem. It's a good story. Good story about Jeff. Oil is dinosaurs, kinda. Except for like you harvest it straight from the monster. You don't have to wait for it to decay or anything like that. It's okay, I guess. We own TTRPG. Yeah. Hell yeah. Make it happen, boys. Time for Kickstarter. I don't think I could handle the pressure of having a Kickstarter than having to follow through with it. I think I'd throw up and die. So, I can see there would be crystal recharge services where you take your depleted crystal and give you a charge one. Wow. Then send someone off to one of those fishers with a cartload of depleted crystals to charge them up so they can sell them again. Yeah, exactly. Making a TTRPG is tough. You could always choose one that you like and go from there to make it easier and semi less stressful. Yeah, I was thinking about like, well, so when I first started this, I was like, I could make a 5e module, and then now I kind of hate Dungeons and Dragons, but you know, that's a whole nother bucket of worms. So I have some funny lore regarding the horse racing game. Oh yeah? Oh yeah? Oh yeah, we could do her helmet. Sure, hair off though. Bink. Oh. Get that out of there. You'd have an easier time converting Iron Claw? I've never even heard of Iron Claw. What is that? Fight beasts and kill them with whatever empty crystal you have to siphon energy. Yep. Nope, actually, you just stick it in the ground. You stick it in the ground and wait. But it has to be in the coil for it to charge quickly. Otherwise, you have to take it near an ailer fissure and leave it there. So, like, what Commissar was bringing up earlier was, like, if you left your rocks there unattended, could someone just walk up and take them? And I'm like, yeah. Like, if you didn't have, like, a secured way of securing them, someone can definitely just walk up and take them. So there might be people in the world that just, like boost boost crystals off of charging areas. And I think that would make a really cool short story, to be completely honest with you. Nice, that's how I recharge. Is a furry RPG? Why are you like this, Buddha? Why? There could be a rebel group that runs a stone polishing gig and they shave off bits of the stone to power and build weaponry. Oh, that's a cool idea too. So horses and their digestion work harder depending. I posted that on my Facebook. It was really funny. People are freaking out. Okay, so hear me out. Some kind of villain called Gun Run or something equally stupid. He's the CEO of a company with really good public rep, but he secretly... Yeah, dude. It's crazy. Small cooking hard, yeah. He's just a silly little guy. He just didn't know. He didn't know, guys. He's just a silly little guy. He didn't know his top, like one of his top talents was running a charity fundraiser for 30 whole days that he retweeted. Guys, he promoted it himself. He didn't know. He's just a silly little guy. I just looked up Ironclaw. It's far from the worst RPG I've ever seen. Wow, really? Maybe I'll look into it. I don't know. If I do a TTRPG, that's far flung into the future. I want to write the story first and then have the RPG come after if we did that. He just misunderstood. He had no idea. He's just easily confused. You might like Starfinder. It's like sci-fi Pathfinder. I haven't played Pathfinder. Dan wants to get everyone together and do a Pathfinder game, and I was like, maybe. Because apparently it's got a lot of... My complaint with 5e was that they dumbed it down so far that like every character was the same character. Like there's literally no point in specializing in anything unless you wanted to like actively hobble yourself. GURPS. I've never heard of GURPS either. Oh, when Buddha says furry RPG, he's weird, but someone else says it's fine. Yeah. Buddha, you're the weird one. I don't know if you know that. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, watching that happen live was crazy how fast it'll crash. It did come down very fast. GURPS is the sound I make when I drink too much Sprite. Same. But for me, it's Coca-Cola. Yeah, to get back on topic. I also had... So we talked about people... people that had Droktamech installed into their bodies, and that functions a bit differently than your toaster. The crystal that's installed into a person's body does not need to be recharged near an Ailer field or fissure or in the coil. They simply eat your calories. So people who have Droktamech installed need to eat more, or the crystals will start eating their body against their will. So people who have that tend to need to eat a lot more than people who don't. People cannot get turned into toasters, no. She looks so cool! Ooh. Wait, let's do the braid. So cool! Ooh. I see. No, toasters cannot be turned into people either. Someone brought up Texas from Arknights last time I was drawing her. I think it's a mask. I can see someone who has lots of implanted sitting down with a comically large bowl of ramen every day. Yeah, so that's kind of how I was able to like limit the magic system, because essentially people can project things from their bodies, like Ailer energy, and each person has like a different type of function, and we'll go over that in a little bit. But you know, like, I'm like, oh yeah, so you can like make a cool sword, but I'm like, how do you limit that? And like part of it was the calories. So like, if you didn't eat well the day before your fight, you're gonna spurt out of calories and get really weak really fast. Bleach, stop it. Stop this. Okay. The other drawback is that so Droktimek outside of the human body does not, I said project, I did not say spurt. Did I say spurt? Did I say spurt? I did not mean to say spurt. My God. Spurt all the calories. I hate this. I hate all of you. Yeah, so essentially, Droktimek, just ignore it, V. Keep going. So essentially, like, if it's in, like, a toaster, it doesn't make heat. But if it's in a body, a human body, it does make heat. So, they need to wear a special equipment. Oh my gosh, hold on a second. I have my notes up on my Discord. I just said spurt in chat. But chat is, yeah, no, it's you guys. So basically, they all have to wear this, which is called, you can't see it very well. Let me see if I can make it easier for you guys. If I can find the proper layer. Oh, dang. Everything's on that layer. This is the worst. Here, let me do it this way. I got it. I got it. I got you, chat. I got you. I got you. Don't worry. Don't worry. Okay, so basically, there you go. Let's make it easier. This is called a guard system. G-A-R-D. Guard. And basically what it is it's like a PC cooling system on your body. And you can't see it because it's on the back, but there's basically a pressure release valve on her back. It's like, that's what these strappy boys are attached to. But, so basically, like, cooling stuff goes through the system and cools at pulse points and keeps her body cool while she's functioning. So that's something, so if they don't have a guard system, when they're using their abilities, they can overheat very fast and get heat stroke. It starts off as heat exhaustion, but then it becomes heat stroke. No, there's no RGB lighting in the coolant. So they'd be super comfortable in winter environments since the heat up. Yeah, so like if they're in, yeah, so they would do really well in winter things because the other thing is that if they like go drinking, like if they get drunk, they can like flare their Droktimek and then burn out all the alcohol out of their system really quickly. So basically it can like make them sober up. Which is fun fact. But yeah, so if they could technically, like if they're in a really cold situation, they could flare their Droktimek and like warm their body up that way. But yeah, so they always have to wear a guard system, and these are like hoses. So can I draw? Or no, are we not doing that today? Oh, I know why. So in battle, they can get cut, they can get damaged and destroyed, and then that can cause the entire system to fail. Because obviously, if you have a liquid system and it starts to leak, it makes the rest of the system not work so well because there's no fluid moving through a pump. Does it increase self-healing? So no, but there are a few cases where something else causes healing. As someone with a crazy metabolism, I relate. Yeah. I like the concept of it. Thanks. I literally only thought of it because I had this cool mental image of like someone getting like really intense in battle, and then yeah, here, wait, let me. So behind her is like a system, like basically be like the pump And then like a couple blow-off valves for like it, because obviously like when water, actually water shrinks when it gets hot. How come things need to depressurize when the fluid gets hot? Water shrinks when it gets hot. What's up with that? We must have a science nerd in here somewhere that can answer that question. The suit makes sure a user be really nice. Yeah. So I'm thinking like intense fighting for a few, then taking a beat to find an opening to vent, and then going back into it. Density? Is that what it is? Water gets bigger when it's freezing and gets smaller when it's warmed up. Oh, water vapor. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah. Okay, no, okay. Sorry, I remember chemistry. Yeah, so basically I had this cool idea where you have like this thing at their back with like a cool, with like blow off valves, and then there'd be like a little nozzle here, you know, and it's pumping stuff. It looks complicated and like steampunky, I don't know. You know, and it'd be at the lower back. But I had this cool idea where someone would be like doing a really intense fight, and then like the blow off valves would go, and then it'd just be like steam everywhere, and it'd look really intense and cool. And that's literally the only reason why I made the guard system, because I just like aesthetically that sounded super fucking cool. So that's literally where it came from. So like the steam you build up could be used for a special attack or vented so you can reset or gain a buff. It wouldn't be a special attack. I mean, I guess if someone's like standing behind you and it releases, you could burn someone. But it wouldn't be, it's not something that like you would manually release if everything's working properly. It would be something that just releases when the pressure is enough. When the pressure hits a certain threshold. Now, I'm sure there's points where things get damaged and you have to manually, like, force it to release if you're not, you know, versus, like, blowing a hose or something. I could see that as a VFX at the end of an intense fight. Yeah! See, isn't that such a cool idea? I see, just throwing out some ideas. Just really like the concept. Yeah! Let me think. There's more about the guard system. Oh! Also, you can get these little packs, little canisters, I suppose. And I believe this was Robo's idea originally, but it's little canisters, and it's basically, it's not nitrous oxide, but think something like that, right? Is that what gets cold? I don't know, but you basically, like, if you're like overheating and like shit's going too hard, you can like pump it into your system and basically like super cool it really quickly. And obviously like you can't be carrying like 100 of these, so it's a CO2. Yeah, there we go. I am thinking liquid nitrogen, you're right. Would venting be an issue eventually? Like, would they need to refill? Yeah, so venting would be an issue eventually, because it would start to lose pressure, which means the pump couldn't function as well, which means it couldn't cool you off as well. So if you have multiple vents, that's not good. Nitrous oxide is a vasodilator. Hey, I don't think that would be good in a fight. Maybe it would. Maybe not. But yeah, so you could like pump a canister of like coolant essentially, and like not freeze your system, but essentially like super cool it really quickly. Like those little cylinders they used to have in old soda fountains and whipped cream dispensers. Yeah, exactly. She looks so cool. I will say, Elise here, and I mentioned it last time I drew her, Elise's armor looks a lot different than what a normal standard soldier would have. She's special. She's very special. She's a special soldier with a special type of armor. So this is not standard. I know this looks very futuristic and high-tech. Improve circulation, take it before workouts. Dang. Special forces. Yeah, essentially. She's my OC donut steal. Oh yeah, wait. What's her power set? Oh, great question. You know what? We'll go and thank you. Dang, Neko, you're just doing great with like the segues today, man. You're just on it. Thank you. Because I'm bad at them. Elise, any connection to Elysium Skiff? Ha, 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 ha. Actually, her full name is Verlise. I can never pronounce her last name. How stupid is that? Verlise Railhall. Ryle. I've heard several people pronounce it. I'm like, yeah, that's how you pronounce it, and then I can never pronounce it. It's R-H-A-E-L Hall. Rail Hall. Rail Hall. Not rail. Rail. I guess it'd be Rail Hall. Rail Hall. Rail. What's her last name? So Elise is short for Verlise. Railroad. Yeah. All right. So her special thing though. So last time we talked about it, there were 3 main types of uses for the Droked mech. That has expanded to 5. No, wait. I thought it was 5. Hold on a minute. Hold on. I gotta get my obsidian open. There should be more. Why do I only have 4 in my notes? Oh, maybe there are only 4. Hold on a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, I guess there are only 4. But wait, there's more. Oh yeah, I call them Ale Rangers here. Okay. So we have ale shots. We have, I know it's ale like A-L-E. I get it, guys. I got it. We've got ale shots. We have ale wards. We have ale cutters, and we have ale binders. So, Elise is an ale ward, and this is one of the ones that we originally had. This is not the new one. Attack, defend, heal. You had internal ability and like Green Lantern. Oh yeah, I guess it is like Green Lantern. You're right. Elise is short. Got it. Writing that down. She is kind of short though. Here, wait. Where's my? Hold on. Hold up. This is another character I started drawing last night. He's also in the spandex. Where's my thing? So let's see. If we were doing like canonically height, she would be, hold on, not, yeah, like that. Like that. Height difference. That would be the height difference. Fun fact. Hold on, I'm gonna do a little drinky poo. I have to save my work from bleach. Now show the skill for the guy. That is his height. I mean, based to her. Wait, what? Wait, what? Comparatively to herself. So yeah, so before I had like an attack, defend kind of thing. It's still, those are still there. So like the ale wards are what the guardians were. And then the ale cutters are what the strikers were. So those are relatively the same. I took away the whole like, oh, so he can rest his chin on her head? Yeah! Sorry, I'm trying to be a normal human being. I don't want to spoil things. I assume he's like 6 feet tall. Oh, yeah, maybe. I never really like got a specific height. I feel like he's probably like 6. Like he's tall, but not super tall. I'd say, yeah, probably around 6 feet. That'd be good. So anyway, Yeah, so ale cutters were strikers, ale words were guardians. I got rid of the whole like gendered thing where one would be like, you know, like the guardians would be women and the strikers would be men. I got rid of that. So anyone can be anything. They still tend to kind of lean one way or another, but it's not like an official rule or anything like that. So we also have ale shots, which is kind of based off the, I think I called them slingers. No, you can't really multi-class. The other thing with the Droktemek, so you have like your primary Droktemek, which would make you like the ale ward or the ale cutter or the ale binder, but then you also have like a secondary system. So like for example, an ale cutter might have something that boosts speed or strength built into their system, or you know, an ale ward might have strength built into their system so they can like hold down, you know, large hits without getting like knocked back and stuff like that. So like you're kind of built into what you're doing. You know, ale shots might be built more for speed. So ale shots, like their name suggests, fire things. They're kind of what the slingers were, but in a more direct way. And they can be, so they take the aler energy and they can fire it kind of like a rifle, essentially. But depending on how you function as a human being and you train with the ability and things like that, you can have people that can be like super precise snipers, and then you can have people that like function kind of like a shotgun or like a missile launcher. So it kind of just is based on like personality and how you train with it. So like you can train within your class to kind of function a little differently. Not everyone's going to be like sniper sort of deal. Is it chosen or is it like random when you get the crystal? It's based off of the type of personality you have and your system. So people that end up being ale wards tend to be more of like the protective type personality. People that are ale cutters tend to be more aggressive. You know, like that kind of vibe. People who are quiet and precise normally end up being ale shots, that kind of thing. It's not like an official hard rule, but like that's like the general rule, is kind of just because the idea is that the aler projections that you make when you know, use your Droktemek is essentially like a soul projection. So it's supposed to be like an image of your soul, essentially. So like someone who's really, really hyper aggressive that likes to attack people probably wouldn't end up as an ale ward. So subclasses. Some ale wards can be heavy tank fighters or light agility fighters. I think it would be hard. So ale ward projects shields. So they would be more suited for tanking, yeah. The idea is that I wanted to give the characters a very strict like framework of how they function, but anything that can function within that framework is good to go. So like if you are using a shield offensively, then but you're still following within the rules of your class or whatever, then it's good to go, is the idea. So like Elise, for example, she can project a shield, but then she can jump on it, essentially. So she can project a flat like shield, like horizontal, parallel with the ground, and then like jump on it, and then so she can get like aerial very quickly because she's basically using them as like stepping stones up. So like it still falls within the bracket of an ale ward, but you know, it's different. It's a little bit more creative. So like ale cutters, for example, produce weapons. So some people produce like axes, some people produce like your general sword. Some people who don't really have like shapes to the energy because they have a very like kind of broken up, you know, like if like you're really like mentally like broken up and kind of destroyed and stuff, like maybe your weapon wouldn't really be like put together all nice neaty. Maybe it would look like really aggressive and shattered and like super scary. And then we have, can these projections be imbued with any effects like heat or light? No, they're not like magical weapons where you can like enchant them or add things to them. They do give off their own light. But they wouldn't, it's not something you can like add to them. It's just like, it's like a second-hand thing to the projection itself. And then we have the newest one, which is brand new. You guys are hearing it first here right now. Is the Ale Binder, which is someone that can produce like ropes or wires called ale lines. They're like cables. And you can use these to obviously like grab people and not subdue, like bind them up, I guess. You can restrain. Oh my god, the word is restrain. So you can use these to restrain people. You can use it to like make them like whips or to break up ground from a distance. Some people, you know, going back to that multi-class thing, some people train in a more precise way, so they act more like medics, so they can use the ale lines to like essentially act as like staples in a wound to hold a wound closed, or they can act like a tourniquet to keep someone from bleeding out. But again, it's how you train. Like someone who's really good at like crowd control and restraining people isn't, sorry, they can probably do some of the medic stuff, but like they wouldn't be automatically be good at it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's how you train. My first thought on hearing this earlier was somebody using their powers to keep a monster as a pet or something. So that's a good point. So the monsters cannot on their own leave the coils because our air, or their air, I guess, their air is toxic. Let's see. The human air, the air outside the coil, is toxic to the monsters, and the air inside the coil is toxic to the humans. So there is a country that has figured out how to take monsters out of the coil. But essentially, they have like reverse gas masks on, and they're super unstable. And gas mask meta, best meta, yeah! They're super unstable and hard to control. And think like the horse gas masks from World War I. So it's like very, very new, very like desperate attempt, very, you know, and then you have to control the monster outside its environment. So yeah, there are monsters being employed in the war effort. That was another big change from what we were talking about like a year ago. A lot of the plot of the story was happening in the coil, around the coil, next to the coil. And then like a war happened like way later in the story that was kind of like a backdrop thing. But it has changed now to the war being like the main setting. So while there's stuff that happens in the coils, a lot of the story is during the war. And it's very much like Napoleonic trench warfare, like super like down and dirty in the mud kind of fighting. So just where my head went when you said binder the first time, but before I knew about them being mostly energy construct. Yeah, I mean, I could see you like lashing a monster and then like using it as a leash, but yeah, you wouldn't be able to like that, because I remember when we were first talking about it, a lot of people were like, can I pull this monster out and keep it as a pet? And I was like, well, I don't really want that. So I was like, what if the air is toxic? But then that had a whole bunch of new problems, which came up with like a new like horror, a new aesthetic, a new horrible aesthetic for the monsters. So it ended up working out in the long run. So yeah, we have, here, let me get my notes back. So we have ale shots, which are like riflemen, I guess, essentially. And then we have ale wards, which would be like essentially your tanks. And then you have ale cutters. Oops. Which would be like your fighters. And then you have ale binders, which would be like your crowd control / medic. Maybe if I wrote binder instead of cutter. Ale burgers. Ale burgers. Yeah. So those are the 4 like quote unquote classes. The Drokdamek enhanced people aren't very, what's the word? There aren't a lot of them. They're very small units and there's not a lot of them. Before the war starts, we have the Canaries, which are the people that enter the coil to monster hunt, essentially. A lot of them are noblemen's, like noblemen's sons, you know, people paid by the noblemen, because for those who weren't here briefly, a lot of it's turned into like a blood sport, more or less. It's more or less televised to the public, and people think like Colosseums, but a dungeon crawl. So there's lots of money to be made. People bet on them, on which canary cages or groups are gonna make it. There's money to be made by the canaries because they're getting paid by the corporation that's sponsoring them, you know, that sort of thing. So they're essentially like, they're hunters, but they're also celebrities. When the war starts, those are not the Drokdamek users that get sent out to the front lines. They stay and they continue to do their job as canaries. The Drokdamek users that get sent to the front lines are the people that are down below, that from this area, that have illegal enhancements. So basically, the war starts, guards come down, they start pulling people out of their houses, and anyone found with illegal enhancements, so basically anyone that has enhancements down here, are told like either you have to join the war effort or you're gonna go to jail. So those are the Drokdamek people they're putting on the front lines. Sad. Cool though. Yeah, it is sad. I will like it's got happy stuff in it, but it's not a happy story. I don't think I would say. It's dark. I'd say it's gritty. Are there anyone who kind of defies classifications? Not necessarily a new class, but people whose expression of their class is so outside the norm it seems novel. So, yeah. So the group that Elise belongs to, all of them kind of function like that. They're not new classes, but they're so... Trying to remain hydrated. They're so hyper trained and they have such control over everything that they do that they don't use their Drokdamek like a normal soldier would. So like, for example, her using her shields as stepping stones, like that's not standard procedure. That's not something that like a normal person would be able to do because it requires like an incredible amount of control over the energy and timing and everything, because you can only project one shield at a time. So if she's using those as stepping stones, she needs to, you know, end one shield and get the other one up before she needs it under her, you know, and it's very much like a very intense training process for things like that. Another one, these are, I try not to be all over the place, I'm sorry. So her whole unit or whatever you want to call them. They're called talons. So they're essentially super soldiers. And there's 5 of them. Like 5 talons in the entire system. So there's another one who's an alebinder, and while alebinders can like bind someone up and like kind of walk away, you still have to stay focused on the binding. You still have to stay close, blah 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 blah. And this talon is an alebinder, and he's so like controlled with it is that he can bind someone and like leave them there, or go do something else, or like do something else while holding a conversation and having someone bound. And then he can also like adjust how tight they are without having to like be there like actively focusing on it. With the classes, is there like a special set of crystals they have to get implanted to join that class? No, because like I said, it's all kind of like based on like how the person is and their personality and their soul. So one thing I can say is that that has not changed is to become a very powerful canary, for lack of a better term, because technically these guys would be canaries too. So I don't really have a word. I mean like she's a talon, but I don't know what I would call the other Droktomek guys. Obviously you either have to do a heck of a lot of training, and it's kind of like the very like kung fu kind of idea, where like you need to like get to know your soul either through training, you know, and meditation and everything, you know, and have control of your own soul to be able to like be good at projecting your soul essentially, or lots of trauma. So essentially, because you kind of know yourself when you go through a lot of trauma. So without revealing too much, talons tend to have both. So that's why they're the way they are. Will he know if the bind breaks? He could use that for communication. Yeah, he would know. I haven't thought of a situation where his bindings do break. That's a good question. Because they're essentially, they would be like, at least for like him, because again, he's like hyper trained and stuff. I feel like his bindings would be equivalent to like steel wire or like steel rope. So it'd be very, very hard to break them. But I feel like someone who's less trained, it would be a lot easier to break their bindings. Or someone who is trained in more precision, you know, like while their bindings are very precise, maybe they're not quite as strong. Because I have these images in my head of someone like lashing out some bindings and then like hitting the ground with them like a big whip, and then like the ground breaking up and becoming uneven and difficult to walk on. Trauma makes good character backgrounds. Yeah, we love trauma. Yeah. You can't have an OC without absolutely traumatizing them, right? That's just how it is. That's just how it is with OCs. I'm trying to think of what else has changed. This is what I was scared of, that I would blow through all my notes quickly, and that kind of happened. Does anyone have any other questions while I try to find more notes to like talk about? I have this note here and all it says is regicide. Regicide. Which is funny because I took all that time to draw those stones and then I'm not even using them. Wow, spoilers. Yeah, regicide. Yeah, so canaries are still a thing. Is there any food produced in the slums or the coils? I have. Where are those? Hold on, give me 2 seconds. Hold on. That's a good question. Hold on. You said food, and there's a bag of pretzels near me, and I had to eat some. I have 2 pretzels, I'm gonna eat them. I think I have notes on this. Give me like 2 seconds. But they're like in my notebook, so I gotta find them. I feel like I'm close. I'm looking. I'm grazing. Characters. I have a drawing of a crab. I have a drawing of a weird chicken thing. Catworm. Damn, I don't think I have it. I had ideas for like teas and stuff. I can't remember what they were called though. I have it written down somewhere, just apparently not this notebook. Well, and I remember we talked about it on stream a while ago about like, they would make like their own alcohols that were like really terrible. We're not making it easy for you to focus, are we? No, you're fine. You're fine, because like I said, I had like notes that I wanted to touch on during the stream, and I kind of burned through them pretty quickly. So, you know, it's okay. That just gives us more to talk about. But yeah, I'm mad now that I don't know where they are, though. I had, like, a list of, like, the tea they get is not, like, tea leaves, but it's, like, you know, like, when you have loose leaf tea, and then when you, like, use it all, there's always that smashed up stuff on the bottom. That's, like, powder, essentially. So, like, essentially they would have, like, they would get that as, like, rations, essentially. Because basically they have to get... Where'd my pen go? Wait, where'd my pen go? Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. I lost my... I can't draw! My stylus is gone. I got too excited. I probably yeeted it somewhere. Oh, you know what? I put it away. I put it away where it belonged and I lost it. The tea dust is what they stick in the tea bags. Yeah, so essentially they'd be getting that, but instead of getting it like in individual tea bags, it would just be like big sacks that would get dropped off. And then we were talking about like oh, that's another thing. So this is called the Elysium quarters. The top part of the city. The whole city is called Torturous. But the top part's called Elysium quarters, and then down here is called the Strigan district. But basically the Strigan, we were trying to think of like the Strigan district having their own like brewed alcohol that they would have, that they would make, because I'm assuming they couldn't afford alcohol from above. So they'd have to make their own alcohol. And I think we talked about that on stream a little bit, but we didn't really come out. Maybe we did, but I don't really think we kind of came up with anything like 100% though. If we did, I don't know if I put it in the Discord. Huh, I put that art and then I never... Conduits. Oh yeah, I should update the thingy for the magic system. Tea dust? Yeah, essentially be like tea dust. Basically, like, they would get the leftovers of stuff. So, like, anything that would, like, you know when you get, like, the delivery of the the fruit and vegetables that didn't pass the grocery store's thing. And you like get it because it's cheaper, but then you get like the weird pepper and like the apple that has bruises in it. That like at home, like shipped to home food service thing that I can't remember the name of. It's like that. So like all the, damn it, Bleach. I can't remember what it's called. But essentially they get like the leftovers, like the not as good things. There, now she got her big coat on. She got a big poofy coat on. Be nice and warm. I can't remember, Second Life or something? No, that's a video game. The kind of food that the soup kitchens for the homeless get for free from wholesalers? Yeah! They just get like the leftover crap. Cause like that's the thing, right? Is like the factories are down there. So like the manufacturers need them alive. They don't need them happy or healthy, but they do need them alive. So they do the bare minimum to keep them alive. Is essentially what the dealio is with that. You know, and people, I love the bare minimum. You don't even know what that means. Bleach. And then, it's what I do at work. Okay, yeah. You know what? Fair. So the people in Strigan, kind of have like two options for work. Well, maybe a couple more. Ha! For legal work, they basically have like working in a factory and maybe, running some kind of shop that serves other Strigans. You know, that sort of deal. But they can also do things like work on the black market or do illegal coil dives and hunt monsters and then sell, you know, the metals and the crystals they get from the monsters and into the black market and make money that way. Dixian? What does that mean? The factories are very like Victorian sweatshop. She got a cool coat now. Yeah, hold on, it gets cooler. It gets cooler. We have bang. Oh, I haven't finished coloring it though. Bang. Let me finish coloring it and then it'll be cooler. She's very much like a dress-up doll right now. We must be warm for the winter. Big winter hours. Over here. Charles Dickens work, like poor houses in Victorian England. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, that Fort Hood. Yeah. Very cozy. We're very cozy. Off in our war zone. So, like, these coats is something that, like, the normal soldiers would have. It's just really her, like, armor and the mask she wears, which is called an Ailer crown. And her crown is actually really neat. It does fuse with her nervous system. Her stuff's very high-tech. It's not... It's very out of place in the setting. But that's on purpose. That's intentional. She's supposed to be very out of place in the setting. Is it a HUD? It acts as a HUD. Yeah, it can act as a HUD. It records... No, I don't want to say video. But essentially, like, you know, like, back in the day... The really shitty CCTV cameras where, like, it would just take a picture every, like, 3 seconds. It essentially does that. It records her vital signs. It records, her, like, Ailer sync rate. Like, synchronous. You know what I mean. And that gets funneled back to someone called a handler who, well, no, I lied to you. It doesn't all get funneled back. Some of it's just recorded and stored into the helmet. So the handler gets, do we? I think so. I think so. The handler, so basically a Talon and a handler work, quote unquote, as a team. And hold on, this music's stressing me out. Beethoven, why are you so anxiety inducing? Piano too fast. This is much better. Handler, yeah. Don't do it, Bleach. Slinger, don't do it, Bleach. No, it's not. I promise. It kind of is. The slinger went away. Yeah, so basically, the handler and the talon work as a quote-unquote team. I say quote-unquote because they... Essentially, the handler is to make sure that the talon does not go off script. Because when I say the talon is a super soldier, I mean the talon is a super soldier. And they are significantly stronger than like a military unit. We both know I'm legally obligated to be a little shit at all times. That's true. That's true. So they're not like working as a team in like the way that like they're like mutual coworkers just trying to like complete a task. Essentially the handler has like a leash to make sure the talon obeys. Kind of thing. They're legitimately like a handler, like you would have for like a police dog. Yeah, so the handler will get their vitals back in not real time, but pretty quickly through the ailer lines. And then they will get like the still images back. Oops. Aren't the canaries basically celebrities, rock stars? Yeah, those are, but she's not a canary. But yeah, the ones that like go to the coils, yeah, those are still like celebrities / rock stars, yeah. Yeah. Is her hair like... Ah, man, that was bugging me. Okay. So handlers are overworked personal assistants trying to keep them on schedule. The regular canaries do not have a handler. It's just these talons, which are like super soldiers. So there's 5 talons total in the entire setting. So there's 5, like the handler group is larger, but there's 5 like active handlers handling talons at any given time. It's very not a healthy relationship. How do I paint this behind without... yeah, so anyway. So handlers get like vital signs, they get still images that are recorded off the helmet. And they also have things called triggers. So if a talon goes off script, they can basically like fire all their nerves at the same time to like stun them essentially, or they can do talons have like a suit? Yep, all talons have it. So yep. Oh, I had a name for it too. I have like 7 notebooks and like 3 like digital notebooks of this information. None of it's organized. It just sounds painful. It's extremely painful. It's not a positive experience. They can also basically just like, you know how in Halo where like they can like lock their suits. I was gonna call it a Halo suit and trigger half chat. The Spartans can get like their suits locked. They can essentially do that with the Talon's nerves. So they can do that too. So it's very much like a contingency plan in case one of the Talons decides to like Leroy Jenkins themselves out of a situation. They can also do things like shut down their nerves so they don't feel pain while they're fighting until they have to turn their nerves back on. And then they do have to feel pain while they're fighting. Hello, Caboose. They need to run away to another country. Well, so if they don't have their crown on, like it's all run through their crown. So if they don't have the helmet on, then the handler can't, like, doodle bop them. But like I said, it is bound to their nervous system when it's attached, and only a handler can take it off because it needs like a special release to pull it off. Hello, V. I've been here. You said hello earlier. I get 2 hellos. I'm special. Well, because you were quiet, so I thought you left and then came back. Under jacket. Now she's extra warm. Extra warm. Under jacket, over jacket, under jacket, over jacket, under jacket, over. Oh, I just realized if I color in there, it's gonna cover up stuff. Oh no, I have to make like another layer. Wait. No. Yeah, no. I'm gonna have to put it like here. But then turn this off so I can see. Oh my god, and turn this off so I can see. So no combat damage can knock it off, or at least super painful, if not lethal. Yeah. Like if she gets shot in the head, it will, well, I mean, if anybody gets shot in the head. But yeah, if she gets hit like really hard or like knocks it off, it's gonna cause some mega goo-goo damage. I was like, if she gets shot in the head, it's gonna do a lot of brain damage, but I was like, that would happen to anybody. Most people get brain damage when they're shot in the head. Oh no. Man. Yeah. But yeah, so she can't just like pull it off whenever she wants. It's like locked into her brain. Feed handlers to wildlife. Yeah, we don't like handlers. Handlers bad. Problem solved. Each talon was raised by a handler, essentially. So their handlers, can rotate out, but preferred, that each talon essentially has like a quote-unquote parental figure as their handler. Yoshi Haruka, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the meat hall. Thank you, thank you. Sounds messed up. It is messed up. It's so messed up. Yeah, so it makes it even harder for them to, you know, do anything against the handler because they essentially view them as like a messed up parental figure. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It definitely happens. But it's not a simple thing. So like there's other handlers around in case something happens, but main goal would be to have the same handler work with the same talent for as long as possible. It's very emotional.
Can I get a Hoya? Lore discussions are so intriguing, interesting, and fun. Thanks for sharing with us. Now show us your war face.
My war face! I physically can't be angry. So yeah, that's like a little deep dive into that whole thing. The most fearsome roars. Yeah, fear me. But essentially, a talon's kill count would be expected to be in the hundreds. How do the handlers not die down there? Like, are the talons just good at protecting them? So the handlers would stay at base. So like let's say you have your forward operating base, your FOB, which is assumedly built near an ailer fissure, so that you can get communication back and forth, right? And then they would stay on base with their little unit, their little control thingy-ma-digger, and then through the fissure and through some advanced tech and these little antennae on her head, they would have long distance control. So again, it can be interrupted and it can be delayed. It's built to have that be nullified as much as possible, but anybody knows that war rarely goes smoothly, so because most of the time, so the Talons are so like deeply trained and conditioned that they really wouldn't go rogue. Like they wouldn't even be like a thought in their head. So more or less those triggers and stuff would be like a contingency plan and not something that would be used regularly, because it can cause like nerve damage. You know, if you're firing your nerves, all of your nerves off at once, like that's gonna cause damage eventually, right? So it's more like a contingency plan in case the conditioning fails. Otherwise they're just so conditioned and like brainwashed essentially that it's not something that really like comes into question. Why was the Talon program created? What started it? It was the King of Chariots started it. I'm trying to think. Try not to talk too much about plot, but I guess everyone will probably forget this by the time I ever get anything out, so it's probably okay. Essentially, to the public, it's just supposed to be like a show of force to show that Charius is strong. They're not shown to the public as super soldiers. I mean, they are, but they're not. Like the program was very secret, you know, so like the public doesn't know about the deep conditioning plot. Oh, I know. You know, like it's very like they're showed off as like a super force and everything, and we have like the best soldiers ever and blah 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 blah, but like they're essentially like show ponies. But like nobody, you know, it's not public knowledge about what happened to them or why, or you know, things like that. There you go. I'll just tell you guys what the public knowledge is. There you go. That's what I'll do. That's what I'll do. So the Talon project is called, this is not public knowledge, so you guys have to, I'm giving you guys some secret clearance here. You guys have to keep it to yourselves. You can't even tell your loved ones. The Talon project is called Project Undertone. And basically they started originally with 24 children and raised them to be these super soldiers. And by the time the project was over, they had 5. So, you can assume. I'll broadcast this knowledge to everyone. No, I gave you secret clearance! No! No! How dare you? I thought you signed the NDA. Oh, you know what? I can't put it in there. I have to put it... It's gonna have to be like its own thing, and that makes me sad. But it is what it is. Yeah. So that's that. The king of Chariots is a little... in a world of rock stars, he wishes to be the biggest rock star. The strongest rock star. The rock star with the biggest stick. Didn't give the header footer sensitive security information with cover letter. Damn it, it was my fault all along. He wants to be the rock lobster. Yeah, essentially they're more or less supposed to just be like a flex, quote unquote. At least to the public. A very long-term flex. Be reviving Aussie in the world. No! I don't that would feel really disrespectful though. If they are flex, would the talents kind of be like celebrities and have things like trading cards and magazine articles about them and such? Ooh! Gamma, did you just clip my super secret information? Oh no, the war face. Okay. Good. I was be like, bro, that was secret. You're not supposed to clip it. At least make people work for it. Oh, Joey said he's gonna watch this later. We should make fun of him now. And then he can be like, I got to the part in the VOD where you guys made fun of me. The mobile clip tool is a bag of ass. It really is, honestly. The scariest fearsome war face. Yeah. Yeah, look how cool this looks. Yeah. And then you can be like, you can be like, yeah. Yeah, except for I gotta put this on its own layer, which sucks. Hi, future Joey. Joey hate. Joey can't even watch a live. What a peasant. Yeah, what a peasant. What a peasant, Joey. Joey, the Bears suck, and so do the Cubs. Alright, wait, someone asked about mom. Yeah, I guess, yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. But yeah, I would think they would have trading cards and stuff. But it'd be one of those things where like they would have all this stuff, but like the public wouldn't interact with them. Like they wouldn't do like fan signings or anything like that. Because if the public got near them, they would know that something weird was going on. So they're very much those like those celebrities that no one's allowed to touch. You know what I mean? No one would be allowed to touch. No one can know the big secrets. Big sussy secrets. Sussy snake. Alright, I want to make this like a creamy colored. But yeah, having like trading cards and stuff, that would be good, I think. Yeah. It's so laggy that I may have caught the end of your alert noise, which is very sussy noise. There we go. I had to fix my mic. It was in my way. It was in my way. So yeah, they're not well-adjusted human beings, the Talons. That's kind of the point, though. And then you have... Oh yeah, did you catch Leviathan on Netflix? I don't have Netflix. If you give a mic in your Wii, you could... What? Why do you have a mic in your Wii? It has some neat monster tech? Oh. Okay, hold on, let me... Alright, hold on a minute. Hold on. The... Leviathan. That's not at all how you... Jesus, okay. Leviathan. Netflix. I'll watch it the same way I watch K-pop Demon Hunters. You said way, but it was in a really stupid way. Why are you making fun of me? Stop making fun of my accent. Be nice to me. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Oh yeah, they're not well-adjusted human beings. Yeah, so, you know, you wouldn't want the public near them. Tried being nice to you like 2 years ago and you said it was weird. That's true, I hated that. Damn. It's really true, you can never make a woman happy. Does anyone have any other questions? Oh yeah, wait, hold on, I want to write down trading cards. How was your day? It was okay. I was really tired, actually. I was very eepy. I woke up eepy, which I hate, and then I had to go to the gym, which was like even worse. Because I don't like going to the gym when I'm not eepy, but I went to the gym when I was eepy, which like is good because like I got to go to the gym, I guess, and that makes me live longer, I suppose, but like still I was eepy. You know what I mean? I hate going to the gym eepy. I did remember my water bottle though, so at least I had that going for me. I didn't have to buy Gatorade from the vending machine again at like $3.50. Beep 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 beep. How was your day, Bleach? Beep beep beep. I'm trying to think about what else to talk about. There's we talked about how the stones are basically all the same now, but we still talked about limitations. Got so many errands on Jake. Dang, big adult hours. Paying for that premium. Yeah, I know, I hate it. Like, do I look like I have enough to spend $3.50 on freaking Gatorade? I don't. But I also need to hydrate at the gym or I die. You know what I mean? Like, there is no in between. Could I have bought a bottle of water instead? Yes, but that was also $3.50. So I might as well have just gotten the Gatorade. Could I have gotten muscle milk? Yes, but the name weirds me out and makes me uncomfortable. So I don't buy it. Is there any vegetation in the coils? Yeah, there are. There's lots of plants. So the coils, for the most part, are big cave systems. Think like your basic standard cavey dungeon crawl, right? But there are pockets of like areas that almost kind of like Minecraft where you like enter a different biome. So there's like big pockets like in caves where there's a lot more vegetation that even like the vegetation eats enough of the poisonous gas that humans can breathe there without a gas mask. A little better than hovering, than waking up with paramedics hovering over you. Bro, if I pass out the gym, I think I would just die. I think I would just like put my head underneath a heavy weight and just let myself go, dude. I don't think I could handle that embarrassment. I'd be like, you know what, let's just leave me. And they're like, you're not actually dying. I'm like, yes, I am. You don't understand. I don't think I could handle that. All right, under jacket, over jacket. Okay, let's see. Oh, nope. That can go, actually. That can go bye-bye. There we go. Yeah, so there's pockets. So, like, you know, not to keep going back to Minecraft, but you know, like in the caves updates where like all of a sudden there's like lush caves full of like water and axolotl and the glowberries. Like, think that's like the kind of vibe. Yeah, double coat all the way. That some areas have. I have this really cool idea, and it's a scene in the story, so I won't go into too much detail about what happens. But basically, these illegal coil divers end up in like a quote-unquote safe area, and like it's like glowing, like it's dark because you're in a cave, right? But like the trees glow blue because they're alar trees, so like the leaves are all crystally and blue. And that's like the light source, but then it's also like the air's safe enough to breathe. Like you wouldn't want to live there because like it's not 100%. And then like the water is safe enough to drink, you know? So like the trees kind of purify it. I watched a video recently on a rainforest entirely inside a cave. Very cool. See, that's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, so it'd be like, there'd be like pockets of stuff like that. Then we have like man-eating vegetation too that just hangs out like on the edges of those types of things, right? Monsters can go into these areas. A lot of them stay away though because the air is quote-unquote purified, which makes it hard for them to breathe in it. So it's kind of like it's safer too because like the monsters don't like going in those areas, so they kind of stay away. So it's like a good rest stop. The plants eat meat in the coil. There's a couple of them that eat meat, yeah. There's some meat-eating plants. So we can also give her this hat. Oh no, there's like a little, Let me fix that. So we can give her this hat. Or we can give her this hat. Haha. And then we can like do this and go beep. You know, so she has her hair tucked backwards. She can be like beep. You know? And like beep. It's so much fun. It's just fun. It's fun to play dress up. So yeah, so this is what she would probably look like just walking around base, maybe before a mission. You know what I mean? Like, covered in clothing. But Elise also moves fast. She has she's an Aylward, but she has less strength enhancements than your standard Aylward. But she has more speed enhancements than your standard Aylward. Because they wanted to build her a certain way, essentially. So, because I think you know, like I feel like most Aylwards you would like they were min-maxing your build. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, think about Project Undertone as a bunch of asshole min-maxers. That sounds really good. That's a really good way to put that. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Luxburg, thank you for the 5 stream streak. I don't know why the alert doesn't pop up for streaks. It's supposed to. But yeah, so like normally walking around she would have like clothes on. You know, just do this and then turn this off. Oh no, I don't have that part colored either. Oh no, I need that on. What am I doing? Yeah, there we go. Well, I gotta bounce. Have fun, y'all. Take care. Thank you for hanging out with us for a while, Souls. I appreciate it. Yeah, so that was like the big major changes. Normally she has clothes on. That's good. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, okay, so like when you're training, like if you're just doing training, right? You probably wouldn't have, it'd probably be more like this. Which is like it's clothes, but it's not clothes. You know what I mean? Like, it's clothes. I was debating about giving her like pants. At least. But then I was like, oh, pants has to, if she has pants, it has to be like, if the Wayman wears pants, it has to be like, they have to be like, hold on, I'm gonna get a layer here. They have to be low because they have to be under the guard thing, so they'd have to be like here on her hips. And then be like, I don't want to give her jorts. Bleach, you own a pair of jorts? Dramatically tossing the jacket aside at the start of a fight is a sign things got serious. Yeah. Well, like, she wouldn't, like, deploy for a mission with the jacket on. Well, maybe she would. I guess it depends on the mission. Big ads hour. He's adding it up. So, like, a lot of the missions that the Talons take on are, solo missions that... I'm gonna give her some joggers. People like joggers, right? Joggers are comfortable. They'd be like a solo mission, a lot of, you know, dirty work. Something you wouldn't give a normal soldier, you know what I mean? Black sights, all that fun and funky stuff. So, like, they normally function alone. And, like, someone pointed out earlier, they can help keep themselves warm with the Drogtamek. Yeah, so it's like, if she wore pants, it would have to be like this. It would have to be, like, really low on her hips. She gets the tax evaders. Exactly, yeah. She's going after Gundrun herself. Embezzlers. Enemies of the state. God damn it, Justin. For real, though. She going after gun run. She's gonna get that $500,000 back. Hammer pants. No, they're joggers. Yeah, they do look like hammer pants. No, if they're like hammer pants, they'd be like this. That's hammer pants. Beethoven. Chill your shit. He plays the piano too fast. It stresses me out. What is something you learned today? Beethoven stresses me out. Yeah, these are like hammer pants. Yeah, I don't know. I can't see her wearing pants. I thought about giving her pants because, like, I was like, well, this guy, would he have pants? I'm like, he probably would have pants. But then I'm like, why does he wear pants, but she doesn't wear pants? Like, are we just gonna be like, are we gonna have a double standard here? But then I was like, I don't know how to put pants on him because he's got the guard system right there. You know? So, like, I don't know if he can wear pants, but I feel like he should wear pants. Like, in my head, he's wearing pants. So, like, I'm not sure, you know, design-wise. The patriarchy. The pantriarchy, actually. We got big pants dilemma here in chat. Old-timey general pants. Well, because those are high-waisted pants. You know, because, like, his pants, again, like, the waistband would have to be, like, here. Underneath the guard system. And, like, normally people wear their pants up here. Like, normal humans would wear their pants up here. But that would be above the guard system. This is a pants dilemma. Maybe I'll ask Kiwi. Kiwi will know. Kiwi will know where to put my pants. Kilts for everybody. Just have them wearing like one of those like tactical kilts. Those tactical kilts are so cringy, dude. Lord Fur, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the meat hall. Thank you, thank you. Oh, Clone Wars. Commas? I'll look up. Aw, you like them? Do you really? I always cringe when I see people wearing them. Kiwi's just gonna say floor? How about this? We'll raid her when I'm done and we'll ask her. Okay, Clone Wars Camas. Oh, like the thingies on the sides? Those aren't really pants, so. Nice skirt really suits you. Ha. I should finish watching Clone Wars. It's really good show. But yeah. Okay. Let me erase you. Thank you. Yeah. So, he is this guy, his name is Max. He is a Drog-to-Mech soldier. So he is enhanced. He, however, is not a super soldier like Elise. So he doesn't get the cool equipment. He will probably just have like a chest plate. Like a metal, like a steel chest plate of some kind. Very World War I. I'm not gonna make it look like the lobster ones though. I feel like those are too recognizable. I don't wanna like totally just rip from it. That's not how plates work. But you know, like you get the gist of it. Hey, wait, now I gotta fix it. I want to have like a big metal collar. How would that work? Where would you put your shoulders? Sag, no super. There are male talons that would get super suits, but Max is not one of them. He is actually the leader of Elysium Skiff. Oh my god, she said it. She said the words. She said the words. Give Max a female handler and then do what with it? And have a mask. Woman with... Plasma super soon. Yeah, I would draw this better in IRL, but you know what I mean. So like he'd probably have like a steel plate. I feel like he needs to have pants. Maybe I will move his guard up like here. Like up here. It's still kind of like lower back kidney area, so like I think that's still okay. I just basically like used hers as a reference. Gamma's like, I'm not fucking with this anymore. I'm just gonna use the clip bot. He needs Rhodesian booty shorts, do you think? He needs to have Rhodesian booty shorts. They're like kind of loose though, aren't they? I saw someone at Offkai wearing Rhodesian booty shorts. There. Have his little butt cheeks poke out the bottom? That'd be good. I think. It's like when I see the gym bros at the gym that wear like these tiny shorts and they're so small they have to wear another pair of shorts underneath them, and I'm really confused by that. I'm like, why not just wear longer shorts? This is perfect music for this, honestly. Alright, so yeah, we're gonna give him pants. Max needs pants. But yes, he is the leader of Elysium Skiff. Elysium Skiff started off as a gang in the Stragon district. And then they all got conscripted, essentially, to join the war effort. And then, for the most part, they stayed together. And then he kind of threw... you know, changes in command and deaths and everything. He kind of just ended up being in charge of the military unit again. Hold on. Give me a second. I need a reference. There we go. Holy crap. Why did that make that so hard to draw? That's better. It's probably because I don't have like boots. Like she's got very sleek looking wear, which makes sense. I should probably put him in like actual boots. Maybe. Because like I said, she is not supposed to look like she fits. Because she's scary. She big. Well, no, she's not big. Actually, she's small. She's small and scary. Small, scary hours. And then we have this, a little bit of this, a little bit of chicken fried, you know what I mean? Cold beer on a Sunday night, Friday night, pair of jeans that hit just right. That's what we're gonna right now, and the radio up. Yeah, so essentially he'd be wearing pants, and then like a maybe metal bracers would be cool. Very like night adjacent. You know what I mean? Like tactical, but also night. You know? Oh yeah. I should say he's an ale cutter, so he has like the sword. He makes a sword out of aler energy. And his unit ends up so the Drogdemek units they're not elite units in the idea that they are like well respected or anything like that. But they are elite units in the fact that they have very specific jobs and they do jobs that other people can't do. So because the country they're fighting in the war has now, because like if you think about it, right, someone who can project a sword or shoot energy from across the field are probably going to be better at killing people than people with just muskets, right? So that was like the original intention. But then the enemy started dragging monsters on the field, and these guys had already been killing monsters in the coil, so it made sense to have them, you know, switch over to that sort of thing, that sort of dealio. So they became like monster hunting units. But these guys don't have these guys don't have handlers or anything like that. They function like a relatively, you know, normal-ish military unit, you know, having like a command structure and everything like that. They don't have handlers or anything. So that's just the talents. I'm drawing pants on this man. I need to draw pants. It's bothering me and I don't know why. I could draw these pants so much better. I'm just like not doing it. I'm gonna put pockets on the pants too, because why wouldn't you put pockets on the pants? So yeah. But yeah, they're not like super well respected because of the fact that like almost all of them were conscripted from the slums. But a lot of people weren't like super, like obviously most people don't want to go to war. Right? But it's better pay than what they were getting in the slums, because they actually pay their soldiers. Unlike Justin. So, you know, for like them to be able to send money home, you know, it's almost kind of a boon, you know, that way. So the Talons get freed of their handlers so they can fight. What do you mean freed? You should have like a knife. All of them should have knives. They should have some kind of sidearm in case they can't use their Drogdemech. I haven't figured out where the Drogdemech would get placed. Obviously, like, some spinal area. I imagine this workplace has high turnover rate. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like you can either die in a factory or you can die in a battlefield. It's like, you know, pick your poison. At least being a soldier pays better, you know? I want to give him, like, more armor. I just don't know where I would give it. I don't want to give him, like, pauldrons. I may have misheard. Did you say they don't have handlers when they... Oh, okay. So, Talons have handlers. They have handlers all the time. Yeah, they have handlers all the time. So, like, when they're out in the field, like, doing their missions, the handlers aren't, like, with them, but they're connected to them through the helmet. So the handler can speak to them. They have like a comms relay. The handler can get still images of what they're seeing. They can see their vitals, things like that, and then they have access to those triggers. These guys, which are just standard Drogdemech units, not a Talon, they don't have handlers. They're just a standard like military unit. I want to make this like, hold on. I need a reference. Oh, night. Good night armor with high collar. I don't know if I'm gonna get what I want. Sort of. This sort of is it, maybe-ish. I guess this would be the closest thing. Oh, I thought these guys were Talons. No, so just this guy. And you can tell because like she's got really intense armor. Well, she's not wearing it right now, but when the armor's turned on, it's there. So like these guys are specialized units, but they're basically just people they pull out of the slums that already had Drogdemech installed, and they went like go to war. These guys were in a super soldier program since they were children, and are relatively unstable mentally. So, normal person, not normal person. Normal person, not normal person. What's that? Oh, okay. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna fix this collar on his armor now. It's bugging me. It's causing me a great bug. I see. I thought he was a Talon. Just her. Yep. Yep, 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 yep. I'm sorry if my explanation's a little confusing. I do mean it to be. I like armor where like you can kind of like tuck your face into it. I think that's really like, I don't know, it just is like a neat aesthetic. It's not. I'm easily confused. Okay. Aww. I'm trying to think of what else. Yeah, so like both these groups have to eat a lot. So that's the other thing is like the Droktomek units are like, they're kind of more expensive to have because you have to feed them more just to keep them running. Because like I said, their bodies will literally eat themselves if they don't get enough calories. When they're not like fighting or like actively using their Droktomek, it does go into like a more or less like a dormant state. So like their fuel needs are lower if you're just like chilling, you know, like how a normal body would work. Like if you're just chilling reading a book, you're gonna use up less calories than if you're like running, you know, 3 miles. You know, it's like that. Like, but if someone with Droktomek would sit and read a book versus someone who doesn't would sit and read a book, like the Droktomek enhanced person would use more calories than the normal person. I can see the ration packs having loads of tea or coffee and loads of sugar to give them fast calories. Ooh, that gave me an idea. Hold on. Sugar stim packs. Because I think they would probably have like a lot of protein and stuff. Maybe. And like fats, but like if you're starting to get like wiped on the battlefield, like stuffing your face full of sugar would be like a good way to kind of get those stores back quickly. So yeah, it would essentially work like a stim pack. All right, we're gonna put like a leather strap here. Their rations are energy drinks and a pack of cigarettes, essentially. Yeah. Oh, I should make energy drinks. We should make an in-world energy drink. We can't just call it Monster though. That there's actual monsters in the world. These are straps, in case you didn't know. Right on his nipper. The Canary's drink of choice, obviously. Yeah. I want super obnoxious advertising. Okay. I'm adding straps to his armor because I don't want it to look super fancy, but I want it to look hardcore. Man, this armor would get so cold in the winter. Is that where the strap would be? I feel like it would come across, not up like that. What's the bird thing called? It's called a suet block. Do I have it? I have like something that like the poor canaries would use. Hold on, let me see. Let's see. Do I have that? I like how I have a file that's just, all it says is U. It's just an empty file, it just says U. Plot. I don't think I have it right now. I think it's on my drive. I had like a special, like, it's essentially a suet block for like the poor people to eat, to like get those calories so they can go into the coils and dive. Diabora sweat. Yeah, Diabora is still a thing. We still have Deborah. I'll never get rid of Deborah. Deborah was supposed to play an integral part in the story, and now I have... You could also make soil... No, I'm not gonna make Soylent Green. Bro, you want to trigger my mom? You mentioned Soylent Green. I don't know why, but it triggers her. I've never seen the actual movie, but she'll go on like a 6-hour rant about it if you say it around her. I found that out. There. Now it looks like it's strapped on. Thick woman endorsed energy drink. Kind of tastes like medicine, but it's loaded with caffeine and sugar and gives you a sugar high. Hell yeah, sugar high. Ooh, they probably sugar crash then after. I wonder if they get diabetes quickly. Yeah, so I feel like after a hard mission, they would be like just completely wiped energy-wise. Like more than a normal person would. It'd just be really, really exhausting to like keep up with everything. Yeah, so there you go. He's got armor. Where else would you put armor, guys? Or do I just leave it like that? Do I just leave it like that? Like, obviously he's gonna have a coat too. Do they need a nap to function? Yeah, they probably would need naps. Just like me, for real, for real. My image for these guys wouldn't be like, they would go out for long missions, but it wouldn't be like what am I thinking? Band of Brothers, where they're like out in the field for months on end. Like they would like function from like a forward operating base, or they would like function near like a known battlefield, because they need to like rest and recharge, and like obviously you can't do that out in the field. Wait, instead of an energy drink, make an energy candy something that they can quickly break pieces off and eat in the coils. Panzer chocolate. Yeah, we'll just give them meth chocolate. That'll be great. That'll be so good. Oh, I'm stretching. I need to be stretched. Oh my god, my back popped. Oh, that felt so good. Oh. Ugh. I've had shroom chocolate, so meth chocolate just sounds like a challenge. You'd have to like join World War I stuff. Let me look at more armor. I don't want him to have like a full suit of armor. I would want him to be like relatively lightweight and just have like the basics covered. But I would like to give him like kind of an interesting design. Cause like, so here, let's turn Elise's armor on. Here's her armor. Like obviously, like I said, he's not gonna have the same type of armor. So his is gonna be like made of steel. Let's make them height. Let's make them like, let's make them lore accurate height. Hold on a second. There we go. Lore accurate. Wait, is that? No, she's too tall. Hold on. There, maybe? Hold on. There you go. Lore accurate height. I think the Pervitin was what they handed out to soldiers. Wow, that is some lewd ass art that just flashbanged me. Holy crap. That's in my brain now. I'm just looking for armor. That's all I'm looking for. Share. No, I don't think I will. I don't think I will. Because I don't have to. But yeah. I think if anyone else has any other questions, you can ask them now. Otherwise, we'll wrap up. Did you accidentally type more? No, it just says arm. Did I? No, it says armor. Yeah, I only do porn on Warlord's Night, which is tomorrow. I just remember the tale of that Finnish soldier who ate a whole bottle of Pervitin and went on a magical mystery trip. Oh my god. That sounds terrible. Or not. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think that sounds fun. The drug that cooks you. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We love getting cooked from the inside. Alright, going once for questions. Going twice for questions. Did you have fun? I did have fun. If you guys would like to do these more, please let me know. Are And if you have specific topics you would like to hit, again, please let me know. I don't know what you guys want unless you tell me, so please feel free to, you know, say it. Inform me. Otherwise, yeah, I think we'll wrap up here, and we don't even know what we want. I know. Well, how am I supposed to know? But yeah, otherwise, you guys all have a great night, and I will see you next time. Nini!